Hi friends, thanks so much for joining me today. So in today's card tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make a fun background using color blocking. You're probably wondering, what the heck is color blocking? Well, color blocking is basically just using areas of different colors on your card base and then decorating it and doing whatever you want. There's other things you can do with color blocking. I'm using cardstock in different colors, and I'll tell you why. I needed to make a card for my color challenge with the Blooms and Butterflies. Brandy Cox challenges us to do that once a month. So I wanted to get this done ahead of time. So I did want to get it ahead of time. So it's done and out of the way. Other things that you could do is you can use designer series paper for some of these. I'm also going to be doing some embossing and just to add a little more texture. So wait till the end though, because I do want to show you my other card. This card we're going to make is in the landscape or horizontal position. My other one is in the portrait style. So before we get started, I wanted to tell you about the sale that just began today, June 3rd. And what it is you get buy one, get one 50% off. How sweet is that? It's valid on all suites and all suite products. Now, that does not mean that you need to purchase a whole entire suite. Let's say you just like the gems from that suite. Well, you can pick the gems, and maybe from another suite, you can pick the ribbon. Keep in mind that it will take the 50% off the lowest priced item. It also goes for bundles, for stamp sets, and you know, if you can separate those out as well in dies. But keep in mind that the products do need to be part of a product suite, and it's whatever is available in the 2025-2026 annual catalog or online exclusives. So take a look at that. If you have any questions, please be sure to reach out to me. I'd be more than happy to help you. It was a little bit confusing when I first read the email that we got from Stamping Up, but then I was like, oh, okay, now I get it. So if you're having difficulty, reach out and I will certainly help you through it. All right, so let's get started. So the colors that Miss Brandy said we needed to use are Melon Mambo, Summer Splash, and Pretty in Pink. We can also use Very Vanilla or Basic White. I'm using Basic White. And for our ink, we could use any of those three colors or a tuxedo black ink from Memento. So that is that. Let's get started. The first thing I want to do is I need to turn this sideways. Otherwise, I'm going to forget and then I'm going to mess up. All right, so these are our inside pieces. We'll put that aside for just a minute. I'm going to get my liquid glue, and I want to dry fit these first. What does dry fitting mean? Well, I want to make sure that I have what kind of spacing I have between and above each piece, above and around each piece. So I'm going to start with my Summer Splash, then I'm going to lay down my Pretty in Pink, and then again we're going to do Summer Splash down on the bottom. And I want to keep in mind to line them up as best I can. And then we're going to do the last piece here, Pretty in Pink. So I could see that I've got, oh, I don't know, is that like 1/8 of an inch, I guess? It might be a 1/16. So I've got equal spacing all around. Now what I like to do is I'll take one piece and I'm going to put adhesive on it. I'm going to use liquid glue because, as you know, you can slide that around. So let's add some liquid glue to this piece. And if you're interested in the measurements of these panels, you should sign up for my newsletter, which goes out every Wednesday following my video. And you can have a PDF in there, which is available for you to print and download to your computer, and then you'll have it forever. All right, next we'll take the pink one, add a little glue to this. Now this makes such a simple card, and honestly, some of these pieces are just scraps that I used, that I had on hand, but I decided to use them this way. And then the reason I'm doing this first is because I want to let it dry a little, because we are going to be embossing it, and you want to have your pieces dry when you're embossing, because what happens if it's not dry is they could move around and then you'll be angry with yourself. So that's why we're going to do it this way. And then we're going to get a little stamping done and die cutting as well. And we'll do a little coloring. We're going to add color to one of our images. And I'll show you the stamp sets that I'm using in just a second. I meant to do that before, but I forgot. So let's do that after I lay this one piece down. And just looking for pretty equal spacing. Guess I oozed some glue there. All right, so I'm going to set this aside for a minute, putting it this way so I don't forget. All right, let's close up the glue for now. I will show you what I'm using. So for the two stamp sets, one stamp set I'm using is Peekaboo Forest. Are they not the cutest little critters that you've seen? So we've got a bear, a hedgehog, a woodpecker, and a raccoon, some tree images, some grass, and a couple of leaves. So this does not come with sentiments. So for my sentiments, I'm using one of my very favorite stamp sets called Simply Stead. I love this. There's pretty much a sentiment for everything, right? So it's a great one to have in your stash. And lastly, I'm using the Birchwood 3D embossing folder. And this is a big one. It's, I believe, 6 by 8.5. I know I've measured this before, but I could never remember. 6 by 8.5. Yep, so that's 8.5 and 6. So we're going to be using this to emboss that one piece. All right, so I've already got these pieces here mounted. What am I doing? I'm going to stamp on this. So let's get a piece of scrap paper and this is going like this. Now we're going like this. Okay, so let's do our tree correctly. I'm using Memento Tuxedo Black for the trunk because those are the colors that I can use. I would have used normally like a, what do you call it, pecan pie or something like that, brown, even early espresso. But because we're not allowed to use that when we're doing this, I have to use my Tuxedo Black, which is fine. Okay, so I'm just going to look for, I want to get the base of the tree down here. See how that looks. You know what? I'm going to stamp the other side as well because I'm going to bring the trunk down a little bit more so that the hole is completely seen. I just want to ink the whole thing up. Now I could make this easier and do it the other way, but you know what? It's probably easier that way. Because it's such a big block, makes it a little bit easier to do. Bring the ink to the stamp as opposed to the stamp to the ink. Okay, so that's that. So now I'm just going to hover and we'll do something like, bring that up just a little bit, right about there. I think I'm going to like that better. Yeah, I think so. I like that so much better than the other side. Yep, okay, we like that. We like it, so we're going with it. I'm just taking out my chamois to wipe my stamp. Okay, set that aside. All right, so that's done. What else do I need to stamp? I need to get a piece of scrap paper so I can stamp my little raccoon. So let's see, is this piece wide enough for her? Oh yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna stamp her again in basic black. Okay, put her right about there, and then we're gonna die cut her. Okay, I think I'm done with my basic black for the moment. Let's close it so we don't stick our fingers in there. And we're gonna clean that off, set that aside. All right, so let me get my pretty in pink. I'm gonna add a little bit of color to her ears only, and maybe her little claws, I guess. So I'm gonna use my blender pen, pick up a little bit of ink from there, and then I'm gonna make sure that I like that. Okay, we're just gonna go inside her ears. Zoom in a little. And just do a little bit of coloring inside her ears, so. And then the other side we'll do the same, and then we'll put a little pink on her nails so she can be a girly girl. Perfect. All right, that's all we're doing. I'm gonna wipe that clean. And this is stained from something else, don't know what, probably used red or something like that, and it just stains. But you just wipe it clean and then it's clear. All right, so we're done with the pretty in pink. Let's get our die cutting machine. Set this aside just for a a minute. Okay, I don't need my cutter, so I can take that out of the way. All right, so we have this, and I need this as well. Okay, so I've got my number 1 plate, my number 2 plate. This replaces one of the, let me zoom out again. Okay, so we have our number 1 plate, number 2 plate. As I was saying, the magic mat replaces one of our number 3 plates. So we're going to lay that down. Then we're going to get our cute little raccoon. I'm assuming that's a raccoon. I'm going to take my die out of here. So this is the one. So these are the dies that come with the set if you purchase the bundle. This would not be part of the sale though, because it's not a suite, it's just a bundle. So just keep that in mind. All right, so we're just gonna lay this little thing on her head and body there. Well, partially her body, I guess, right? Okay, and then we're going to die cut that. Okay. Shoot, I felt the handle coming off. All right, let's see. Have to be careful with that. All right. And I'll take these plates off since I'm using my 3D embossing folder now. And I don't need them. But there you go. Isn't she cute? I think I'm going to add some Wink of Stellar to her ears just so she can sparkle. She looks like the type of girl that likes to sparkle. So let me put the die back so I don't lose it. All right, so we are going to emboss this piece now. So I want these going like this on here, right? Or do I, no, they want to go up and down. So I want to put this in here like this. Okay, so we're going to lay that in there vertically. Okay, I'm going to look for the spot. This centerpiece is going to be covered to some degree. So we're going to bring it over to the side a little, like so. Okay, then we'll get our number 4 plate, which is for our embossing, 3D embossing. It's going to be a little tight because there's several layers on there. So there we go. And I don't want to push it too hard because the handle's going to fly off again. There we go. Okay. And we're done with this. I'll fix that later. And let's see what we have. There you go. Pretty cool, huh? All right, so that is that piece. And we can start assembling this. So let me move this aside here. I'm going to lay this on here. Where's my glue? Right here. So when you die cut the this little guy, it has this little tab because it's supposed to go in here. So I am going to, the die actually cuts that part. I'm going to attempt to do this. I just want to cut like down here, but I can't do that. So I'm going to use my scissors because it's not going to work. Okay, so let's just get our scissors, and I'm going to just poke a hole in here. Let's see, where is she going to be landing? Kind of like there. So I really just need a little bit like from this area here. And luckily, there's a line down there, so I'm just going to poke that through. And then I'm just going to, I'm not cutting, I'm just cutting like a little opening there to stick that tab in. See if that works. Yep, perfect. All right, so there you go. So we did it. So see how it comes out? Isn't that cute? Okay. So that's that. Let's adhere this to our melon mambo piece. And I have our sentiment that's going on the outside already cut out and stamped. So let's do this here. I'm just centering that. Okay. And so don't forget, let's add some Wink of Stella to her ears so they sparkle. Just a little there. And we'll do some on her little nails. Maybe her snout too. Okay. Sometimes I go a little nuts. All right, we're going to put this in the center with dimensionals. Now, before I do that, I want to adhere this to the front. So again, we're going to put some liquid glue. Then I will stamp the inside of the card with Let's Celebrate. We have Happy Birthday for the outside, and then Let's Celebrate for the inside. I don't know about you, but I can always use birthday cards. Seems like the one I need the most. All right, so let's add some dimensionals. And actually, do I want to put I might put a little dimensional right behind her head, just so it stays popped up, but it's not just like floating. So like that, okay? 2, 3, 4, and 5. We'll just take these backings off and throw them out so that my animals, my pets, don't end up with them all over their body. Has that ever happened to you? It certainly happened to me. Okay, so I'm just looking for equal spacing, top, bottom, left, and right, and we're going to put that right down there. I want to move it over just a tad to the left. So kind of like so. Okay, put that right there. Done with these. All right, let's keep that aside. Bring this back in, and let's do this in Summer Splash. We're going to put Let's Celebrate for the inside, and I think there was, let's see, I'm going to do that little woodpecker maybe. A little woodpecker, I'm going to give him a little branch. Oops, that's not what I need. Okay, so we're going to go this way. No, let's hang it this way. It's kind of upside down though, I think. You know what this is? Okay, let's do that. And then we're going to put our little woodpecker here on the branch. So let me, let's just use this block. It's easier. Well, but we don't want to, we want to do this in black. Okay, so we're going to do this in black. I almost went in with my Summer Splash. I'm not seeing too many Summer Splash woodpeckers. Okay. Oh, why didn't this little thingy go down? No, let's flip that over. I know why. Let me do these separate. Okay, so we're going to stamp the branch right about here. Okay. I keep doing it. Okay, let's take this little guy off, put him on there. Where's my little woodpecker? My little woodpecker. Well, I guess woodpeckers kind of go like that, right? So I really should do it this way. All right, do I have another piece? Okay, no, I don't. We're going to put him a different way. We're going to do this. I know it looks a little weird, but not really. It came out kind of cute. Okay, and Summer Splash, we're going to do Let's Celebrate on the center. Okay. And that is it for my inks. It's amazing the mess you make when you're making a card, especially when you make a boo-boo. All right, so I'm going to add some glue only to the edge. And as I found, sometimes when I add it to the center, I get these little bumps when I'm writing. All right, so put that there. And we're going to add this to the inside. Then we'll add some gems. Oh, did you see that? I almost put that upside down. That would not have been good. And then I have my sentiments here already. So grab those. Okay, put those here. Okay, that's done. Then we're going to say happy birthday. Kind of like so. I kind of like it here. Okay, so we're going to get a mini dimensional. You know, let's use ones from the side. Let's use some of these from the side. So I just need a little bit for both of them. I probably don't even need one for the happy because we'll put a little one just to be safe. No, we don't need it. Okay, so for happy, I'm just going to add a little glue. Right here. Okay. Then okay, we're going to do birthday around here. So I'm going to put my dimensional right there. Okay. And then we're going to add a little bit of glue to this side. Sometimes these little pieces are hard to maneuver. All right, so we'll put it right about there. Okay, looking good. Put this away and we will get our pretty gems. Now these are retired. They're the 2024-2026 in color resin dots. They're retiring, although they're on the last chance list. They might still be available online. So check that out if you'd like those. But let's see, what are we going to do here? We're going to do, I think we'll take one of these here and take a small one there. And then we'll take one of the pretty and pink ones and we'll lay that right about here. There we go. All right, let's put that away. So here you have it, friends. Is that not the cutest little card you've seen in a while? I think that's adorable. And it's the first time I'm using this set, but I like it already. And I'm seeing lots of possibilities with this. I really would love to make one of those waterfall cards, you know, where they kind of like stack, because these little guys would be cute on that. So who knows, I might do a video on that one. So this is my landscape version, and then here is my portrait version. Is that not the sweetest? You know, I used this stamp and die set recently, and I really am starting to love it. I really like it a lot, and I love the color block, and you could do that with so many different things. As I mentioned, you could do embossing like I did here. I used the hybrid embossing folder from our Sunrise Sailing stamp set and dies and hybrid embossing folder. And then what I did is I wanted to have some kind of like white peaks, I guess, in the ocean. And I did that with my sponge dauber. I just kind of like dipped it in my white craft ink. And then we have our adorable little raccoon peeking out of the tree. So how cute is that? Let me know what you think. I hope you give this a try. I'd love to hear if you do. And please be sure to like, And comment. Oh, if you leave comments, that makes that tells YouTube that you want to they want to show it to other people, and then they could find me in case they don't know that I exist. So please be sure to leave a comment, even if you're just saying hi. You don't have to say much, just hi. Okay, 2-letter word, hi. Anyway, friends, and if you're interested in that 50% off sale and you're not sure how it works, contact me by email and I'll be happy to help you. Newsletter, if you want to subscribe to that, be sure to look for the link below the video, and you'll get the newsletter every Wednesday. Friends, thanks again for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing to my channel. I really appreciate you. And until next time, have a great day. Bye-bye.